We're talking with Damian Farrell from Damian Farrell Design Group on our Damian on Design each week here, and the importance that design plays in our lives, which it impacts us in every way conceivable, from items you buy in the store and how packages are designed to the homes we live in. Today, looking at some of the top 10 trends in home design. We touch a little bit on this, but I want to talk more, and this is number 6 on the list, flexible floor plans in home design. Now, we talked about the open concept.
Right.
But there are a lot of things one can do as you, especially age in place in homes, with the design of a home. One thing I worry about that, though, is how do we make that so that people, when they do go to sell their homes eventually, or maybe it's part of their estate and their family's selling it, if you've adapted a home where you no longer have bathtubs maybe, which is really important to young families with kids.
Yeah.
They want to have a bathtub. And you've adapted everything to be very easy, shower in and out. What does that do to a home when you've made it so adaptive to your needs at an older age that the resale value for younger people isn't always there?
Very good question. And I tell you what we've seen as a trend in our work is clients sensitive to that fact. Clients are sensitive to that fact. And so what we're seeing is master bathrooms with the concept of aging in place have stayed with the shower concept. It's also surprising how few people really want a tub in their master bathrooms. The biggest response we get is, the bathroom we're in and out. I just want a really nice shower.
Yeah.
Where I can do what I'm doing. But then always in one of the other bathrooms we do need to include a tub and keep a tub in the house. So that's been the most frequent response we've seen.
Okay.
To dealing with that one.
So that's something to consider if you are remodeling your home.
Yes.
What about how now we all want first floor master bedrooms as well? Yet again, the resale. Usually parents want to be upstairs with their kids. So I don't know how you get over that unless you make that master bedroom be more of a guest bedroom, which is always nice to have on the main floor.
Yes, you just nailed it.
Okay.
So you if you have the space, if you have the budget, that's the easiest solution. Create 2 suites. One upstairs, which can be a parent suite next to or adjacent to children, young children, as either the children age or the preferences become different. Then you have a guest suite on the main floor. You switch that around.
All right. Talking about flexible, why are some communities hesitant to allow pocket doors, which I think make for much more sense?
Oh, they do. We had a conversation a while ago about one of our clients in a wheelchair and how the pocket door was much more preferable for the way
you see a lot down south. They have a lot of pocket doors, but not here.
No, we don't. We've got some code issues with them that make it difficult.
Fire code.
Fire code. Somehow there's this idea that a pocket door is going to jam. When you're down to 2,000 people in your house and you have to make a run for the exit door, that a pocket door is going to jam and then you're all stuck in a bedroom or something like that. Of course, we forget we have windows in these spaces and we can crawl and jump out of them and so on. It's one that's never really made sense. They are great. I think they, done well, they're a great thing to have because sometimes there are parts of the house you want to close off for your apartment or something and you don't want anyone to see it, but at the same time you don't always want a door swing in the way. And it's nice to have just a clean archway, if you will, or passageway. And so, it's we're finding more leniency. Essentially, you have to have an alternative way out if you're going to use them. That's sort of what you have to prove.
All right. And that dovetails nicely into number 7 on our list, which is accessible home design. And what does that involve exactly?
Vertical circulation is an important one. So what we are seeing, even with people who are mobile now, we're doing a lot of inclusion of designing a shaft into place that can be retrofitted for we call them more lifts in the residential as opposed to elevators, because they really are a very simple mechanism and they're not that expensive. So storage closets that could be retrofitted for an elevator or a lift at a later date.
Ooh, I like that idea.
To deal with that. The design of stairs, what we do as a rule in our practice, we don't push the riser to tread ratio right up against the code. And the code is sort of either the maximum or the minimum. So we design stairs that are, for instance, in our practice, that are much more comfortable to walk up. So we don't make our risers higher than 6 inches, even though the code will allow you to go to 7.
There are some home builders in this community that I don't know what they're thinking, but the steps going into the house are
Huge.
huge, and there's no
I
railing
know.
on either side. What are they thinking?
You know, I think these are instances where the planning of how the house sits on the site and the grading is not pre-thought. So you kind of put the house in and then you go, oh heck, how do I get to the front door? All right, so now I've got to end up with some railway ties or some concrete block retaining walls, and that defeats the object.
So poor site planning then?
I think it's poor site planning. It's as simple as
All
that.
right. That leads us into outdoor rooms in home design. Huge.
Huge, continue to be huge. But you know what we have noticed, and in fact it backed up in a magazine Julianne and I were looking at just recently, the big outdoor kitchen, it's going.
Is it really?
Yes. Well, you think about it, why would, I mean, the whole idea of an outdoor space, it's close to your kitchen, right?
Right.
That's its best location, in my opinion. So now you want, okay, so we all want barbecues, period, done. But now why do I need another fridge out there? Why do I need a warming drawer, a warming oven, and, all these additional items, these outside appliances, when in theory I should have them, 10 to 15 yards away in my own kitchen.
Right. And
why double up?
And it's just more work to maintain
More work.
those, yeah, and to keep up with
So
it.
we're seeing those going with the outdoor rooms.
Okay.
And indoor rooms opening up to outdoor rooms in much more dramatic ways through big sliding glass panels, not just French doors, when I'm talking about literally
Where you can open up that whole space.
open the whole wall up.
And now your indoors and your outdoors
You could just walk out.
are seamless. I
Yes.
love that idea. They do that a lot, again, down in Florida and other places where it's warm weather,
Yeah.
but that's applicable here too.
Yeah, in fact, we did a house up in mid-Michigan that has a series of them that open onto a screen porch. So for those summer days, the indoor becomes outdoors.
Yeah, or even fall days. I mean,
Yeah,
we've had
it's-
some great weather
yeah.
lately. And then finally, we've got 2 left on our list of top 10 trends in home design with Damian Farrell of Damian Farrell Design Group. Number 9 is the abundant storage in home design. We're seeing more of that. And number 10, Eastern ideas in home design. Comment on both of those.
Storage design. One area of that is food storage. People are buying. In fact, we refer to it in our practice as the Costco room or the place for the Costco stuff. And people nod their heads and go, yes, 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 because people are buying things in, and you've seen the packaging in large packages.
Right.
Water bottles, toilet paper, paper towel, literally the stuff you get at Costco.
We should all have a room for that.
There's a room for that can be combined with pantry space as
Okay.
well. We have more clothes these days. Families, the storage has to adapt for children. And, so from little clothes to longer clothes.
Yeah.
So a very strong emphasis on storage, different kinds of storage as well.
All right. And Eastern ideas, what is that?
The feng shui part of it. As people become more sensitive to their homes being their havens, the place to escape, the place for the family to be a core and to pull together, some of these ancient ideas of what are the subtleties of designing the space that bring on sense of peacefulness, of comfort, of calm. What are the kinds of spaces that you shouldn't, or the kinds of design elements you shouldn't do that negatively affect the feng shui of the space, the feeling of peacefulness, of comfort.
That really goes to what we've seen in where people don't necessarily have living rooms anymore. They want the great open spaces.
Yes.
They want more of the family gathering area.
Yes.
And that kind of makes sense with feng shui too, because you're making your house more usable, really, and more. It's not so much about the aesthetics of the sweeping staircase coming in. I know in feng shui you can't have a staircase facing the door when you're entering a home. That's one of the little things, but.
And this is a multi-level one. You can go into this very, very deeply. I mean, like location of mirrors, bookcases, or you can sort of touch on it with materials. So we see some of that Zen desire in bathrooms, especially where that becomes a little bit of a spa place. Pebbles and those sorts of things.
And it's supposed to impact your health, your prosperity,
Yes,
your
it
happiness.
is. It is, and it's a firm belief in Eastern cultures.
And we're seeing more of that in these homes, which will make it easier for people that ascribe to that to find a home. That's often a difficult things
It
do
is,
for a
it
home
is.
that's already been built.
And there's a tremendous amount of stuff published on this topic as well.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Damian on Design each week here. Thanks so much.
Oh, always a pleasure.
And Damian Farrell, Design Group. You can go online to dfdgonline.com and learn more. Thanks, Damian.
Thank you.